Hi ladies, it's me, Stephanie, your curator, your coach for the amazing Women Who Don't Drink group. Feels like an age since I've been in, and that's because we did the exercise challenge and we sort of blasted you with Facebook Live with lots of other people, but not me. So I wonder if you've missed me. I've definitely missed you ladies. So as I'm sure you're aware, because I've been posting, this week in the UK is Alcohol Awareness Week, which is basically an excuse for me to talk even more about alcohol like I do and promote. We had a little article in the Sunday Mirror, just doing quite a lot of blogging and Facebook Lives and things like that. I've written another article, but I don't know if it's going to go out. I'll let you know if it does. Just promoting everything that I can really about alcohol. As you know, I love to get good factual information out there. That's what it's all about for me. So tonight's Facebook Live, so actually before I start, new ladies, if you're new, welcome. Welcome to the warmth and support that is the Women Who Don't Drink group. It is a group for women that want to change their relationship with alcohol. So if you want to reduce, take a break or stop, it's entirely up to you. We celebrate any alcohol-free day. Please watch the welcome video at the top of the page. It will explain about the page and where everything is. A lot of the education videos sit in the files section. There's also a recommended reading list and a hypnotherapy session. So there's loads and loads of stuff and blogs on my website. Anyway, it's going to be a bit longer tonight. So ladies, this video is for you if you're early days, really. It's going to give you some motivation. Now, don't think, oh, I know that, so I don't need to bother. I have been listening to, repeating, talking, saying this information for probably about 11 years, maybe a bit less than that. And I'm convinced that part of my success is that it's the repetition of factual good information that reminds me what alcohol is. So it's constantly sort of in the forefront of my mind, and I'm not really listening to, outside stuff. What I'm doing is I'm listening to facts. So I'm sure that's part of my success amongst many other things. So there is never any harm to listening to good information. Repetition is the mother of success as long as the information is correct. I've got to get comfortable, ladies, as you know. Let me get comfortable because I'm going to be sat here for a while. So I'm going to start with a little bit of an overview about alcohol, and then I'm going to give you some tips for reducing. I'm going to give you some tips for taking a break. Hello, somebody sent me some love. That's brilliant. Thank you. I'm sending love back to you. So, facts. You'll hear me talk about that a lot. There's so much misinformation out there. One of my favourite UK websites for facts is drinkaware.co.uk. Check it out. Now, let's be really clear. Alcohol is a drug, and I'm going to talk about it in the context of a drug. As you know, I'm historically a drug and alcohol worker. We say drugs and alcohol, but actually we shouldn't. Alcohol is a drug. We should just talk about it as a drug. And it is also one of our most harmful substances. So when I'm talking about drugs, I'm talking about heroin, cocaine, crystal meth, cannabis, ketamine, magic mushrooms, all the drugs, painkillers, everything. Alcohol is one of our most harmful. Yes, it's legal, and what people do is they get fooled into thinking that because it's legal, it must be okay. It's not. It sits up there with heroin and cocaine in terms of harm. So in the UK, and I'm sure in other parts of the world, we have different class systems around drugs. So class A drugs are supposedly our most harmful. It doesn't work like that at all. Our legal system around substances does not reflect the physical or social harms for the substances. So I want you to just throw that out there completely. So in terms of harm, physical health and mental health, and just harm to society, alcohol is in our top 3 most harmful. So just want to be really clear about that. There is nothing of any use whatsoever in alcohol. So, you'll see articles about antioxidants and things like that. Just to clear that up, to get the benefit, the antioxidants in red wine, you would need to drink a barnful. which would kill you. So I had a bit of a discussion with Exeter University the other day about dementia and alcohol, which was really interesting, because they were sort of saying about, you know, what you need to do to protect your brain and your memory, and they hadn't put in there about not drinking alcohol. So I made a comment and said yes, and alcohol, and they were like, well, actually we're not sure about that, and we think that moderate amounts. It's like, oh, okay, hang on a minute, you know, what is a moderate amount and how do you know that's okay? So I got into a bit of a debate with them about that. So much misinformation out there. So when I'm going to talk about alcohol, we think about it in two different ways. There's the short-term harmful effects and the long-term effects. So short-term, we're talking about our binge drinkers. So if you go out on a night out or you drink a lot in one go. Now, a binge session isn't very much, actually. A binge is sort of 3 or more drinks. So it's not a huge amount, but really when I'm talking about a binge, I'm talking about you drinking quite a significant amount of alcohol in one go and getting drunk and not really being in control of your faculties at all. So if we think about short-term effects, so binge drinking, one of the big risks there is about overdose and alcohol poisoning, because alcohol is a poison, and our body can only process 1 unit per hour. Now, 1 unit is 25 ml of a 40% spirit, so it's 25 ml of vodka, whiskey, gin. 1 unit is sort of well, actually 2 units is 125 ml glass of wine, which you hardly ever see these days. That's your real tiny old school glass of wine. I don't know if anybody remembers them. I don't know if you can even get them in bars anymore. And you know, a pint of lager is usually about 2 units, so half a lager is 1 unit, so that gives you an idea really what a unit is. So the body on average processes 1 unit per hour, and that's, you know, how the body deals with that. So if we put more than that in, which a lot of people do when they drink on a night out, your body's going to struggle to deal with it. So this is where the risk around overdose comes. Now, we tend to see this more with young people. So students, I've got a massive thing about educating students in universities, because it's all those drinking games and happy hours and buy one get one frees. It's just horrendous. And actually that's when young people can die. And I think in 2013 the figure was, in the UK, 35,000 people were admitted to hospital with alcohol poisoning. Now that is phenomenal. When you see headlines in newspapers about herbal highs and ecstasy, and I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, you know, but 35,000 admissions in 1 year in the UK for alcohol poisoning, that is phenomenal. So what it does is, so we're on a night out, what it can do is it slows our brain function. So that affects our sense of balance. So then we're looking at accidents. So, you know, when I'm educating young people, I'm talking to them about not drinking too fast, not drinking too much, looking out for each other, stuff like that. Because actually young people can have accidents when they're drunk, and sometimes that's when people are dying or seriously hurting themselves. It can really irritate the stomach. It's, you know, it really upsets our stomach, as I'm sure you're aware, ladies. But on a night out, if you drink a lot, that's where the vomiting comes in, and actually we can choke or inhale our vomiting, so there's quite a serious risk there. It affects our nerves, which control our breathing and our heartbeat, which is when sometimes people can die as well, because it can stop our heartbeat and our breathing. It also dehydrates us, which can cause brain damage as well. It lowers the body temperature, which can cause hypothermia. So that's where we've seen some deaths too, where people have, you know, passed out or fallen asleep, and actually it's the hypothermia that's killed them. And it sounds like I'm scaremongering, but I'm not. This is fact. It's just that this stuff is not reported in a factual way in the media. So, you know, if you have young people, please educate them. If you're a heavy binge drinker yourself, I want you to be really, really aware of this. You know, maybe make a note yourself of the potential risks of a night out. You know, wrong place, wrong time, getting into fights, criminal record, accidents, you know, death, unprotected sex, sexually transmitted diseases. You know, as a woman, we're incredibly vulnerable when we're drunk. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not excusing that you know, absolutely people should not abuse us, but if we're in control of our bodies, it gives us a head start. You know what I mean, ladies? When we're drunk, it makes us vulnerable, and that really worries, you know, me in terms of women when they're on nights out. It also lowers our blood sugar as well, which is where the fits can come in if you drink quite a lot. Now that's the short term, and there could be, so if you're a binge drinker, sit down and think about all the things that could happen on a night out short term. But also if you have young people, young teenage, make sure they're educated about alcohol. One of the big things I do with young people is make sure they understand that they can die from an alcohol overdose if they drink too much. And this isn't an exact science. It isn't like saying if you go to the park and drink a bottle of vodka you're going to die. It isn't, because it's different amounts for different people. It might be a lot less than that, or it might be a lot more. The thing is that it is a risk, and a lot of people don't realise that. And then we come on to the long-term health risks. So, you know, if you drink alcohol over a long period of time, and again, this isn't an exact science, it's different for different people, and gender and size come into it. That's why I'm passionate about women and educating women, you know, because it can be harder for us, and it's harder on our bodies. So long-term health risks: liver disease, cancers. It has a significant impact on 7 different cancers: diabetes, pancreatitis, heart disease, and then you've also got the other more lower level things that we can see, like our skin and our weight and puffiness, and you know, just generally how we look. You know, ladies, you know that when you take a break from drinking, you look so much better. You know, you can't see what's going on inside, but you just look better. I mean, I love those before and after pictures. So one of the first things that you need to do, and you'll hear me say this a million times, is know how much you're drinking. You need to know how much you're drinking. So whether you go on to DrinkAware and use a unit calculator, or use that app, or you just write it down and figure it out, I don't care. Make a note of how much you're drinking so you know how much you're drinking. Now this is really important, because alcohol is one of the few substances that can be physically addictive, and that's why you'll see me go on in the welcome video and say please watch, you know, the educational videos in the file section, because it explains about this in detail. Now, if you are drinking daily, a significant amount, and again, this isn't an exact science, so a guideline is 1.5 bottles of wine, maybe half a bottle of vodka. You know, it's not a huge amount for a lady, but it could be less than that, it could be more than that, and there's so many other factors involved, like medication and mental health and illness. So it's not something, you know, that you can just sort of diagnose yourself. If you're not sure, please message me, but also please go to your doctor. And sometimes I can give advice quite easily, but sometimes you do need to go to your doctor and have a thorough assessment. Now this only affects a very small number of people, the physical dependency, and also there's an issue around if you drink a large, so if you're a binge drinker, say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you don't drink during the week, if you drink a large amount over those few days, you may still be at risk of physical addiction, and there may be the risk around withdrawal. Now why do we go on about that? We go on about that because alcohol withdrawal can be fatal. Again, affects very small numbers, but it's not an exact science. I can't say to you, you know, if you stop suddenly, there could be an issue around withdrawal. We can't say that, and that's why we're always really safe about it. And that's why we always say know how much you're drinking first. Really, really important. It's a good exercise to do anyway, to write it down, to get it out of your head, or get it on an app. So that's a good one to do. Symptoms of physical withdrawal are sweating and shaking, low level, anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, and fits in the extreme. So, you know, if you are a regular drinker and you stop suddenly and you start to sort of sweat, shake and anxiety, the best thing you can do is have a drink and then get to your doctor. Okay, do not take any risks. This is so important, ladies. I can't stress this enough. So once you know how much you're drinking, then you know what you need to do next. A small number of you will need to go and get a specialist assessment, maybe see your doctor and talk about how you reduce. You it is possible to reduce. You can reduce slowly, but then for everybody else, you can choose to reduce, or you can choose to just stop and take a break. That's entirely up to you. Most people say, oh, I just want to stop, and I get that, I totally get that, but sometimes it's really good to mess around with your habits and actually reduce, and that can really work for people. So tips for reducing: obviously, first thing, know how much you're drinking. Then it's messing with your habits, messing with your patterns. So change what you're drinking, so that you're changing the taste, but change it to something with a lower percentage, because then you're naturally reducing. So say, for instance, if you're a Prosecco drinker, and you want to reduce, you know, a bottle of Prosecco is about 9 units, but a bottle of Bucks Fizz is 3 units. Well, that's a massive reduction. But you're still drinking the same volume, it's still sweet and bubbly and fizzy. So, you know, it works in terms of reducing and sort of playing games with your head. So change your alcohol to a lower percentage. That could be the same type of alcohol. You know, you can get some lower percentage wines, lower percentage lagers. If you're drinking spirits, you definitely need to come down from the spirits. Add mixers. So, you know, if you drink wine, can you have spritzer, soda, sparkling water, lemonade? So you're increasing the volume but reducing, you know, the amount that you're drinking. Delay your start time. So this is part of messing with the habit. So if you are used to, you know, you go to work and you go to the shop and then you come home and you say you drink wine while you're cooking dinner, don't. Do something different. You know, maybe you need to go somewhere else after work, or if you do need to come home because you've got family and kids and stuff like that, you know, can you drink something else while you're cooking dinner? You know, can you drink alcohol free, something special, things like that, or just delay your start time. You know, have a cup of tea, drink dinner, delay it by an hour for as long as you can. Now, if you can, your first drink is a soft drink, so you're not letting yourself have that alcoholic drink. And even more important, if you're a binge drinker and you go out, the first drink you have is a big soft drink and you drink it slowly. You also drink your first alcoholic drink slowly. Now, this is a really good tip. So some people drink their first drink quickly because it's that anticipation, they've been thinking about it, they're getting the feelings and they just want to get it down them. So you've got to start taking control. So this is where if you drink a soft drink first, it delays that start time, but also you're practicing drinking slowly. And then if you do have an alcoholic drink, that you drink that slowly as well. So you're changing up and you're just being a bit more aware. Using an app so you're counting what you're drinking so you can see the reduction. It's always good. We love building on success. You know I love that. Eat healthy meals. You're going to hear me say that a lot. So if you're a drinker, make sure you're drinking water and you're eating 3 meals a day and those meals are healthy. Start putting good stuff in. It's going to really help you, okay? So there's some reduction techniques. There is a video on reducing, so there's more information on that in the files section. If you want to take a break, and you know that I am a fan of everybody taking a break. Now, for so many reasons. I think everybody should take a break from alcohol at least once in their life. I do, you know, and it's not about whether you've got a problem or not. Some people don't actually think they've got a problem, and then when they take a break, they realise actually they have been using alcohol as a crutch, because it's a harmful substance. It's a highly addictive substance. It's very habit forming because it's physically and psychologically addictive, and it's very much in our social, you know, our social lives, or just our lives, full stop. So there's a lot going on there. So to take a break and learn how to do things without alcohol, to live without alcohol, is really powerful. It's one of the best things you could do. But I would say that, wouldn't I? Because that's my thing. But when you take a break, you have to do things. You have to keep living your life and you have to do things differently. So you learn how to deal with your emotions. You learn how to deal with stress. You learn how to deal with difficult days. You learn how to deal with difficult children. You learn how to deal with arguments with your partners. You know, a difficult day at work. you know, just all these things, social events, specific holidays, things like that, weddings, when you go on holiday, doing them alcohol free is building new habits. So that's why I'm a big fan of taking a break. I know in your head you need to start small, so I always talk about 30 days as a starting point and then see how you feel. Most people feel really good, but most people feel good because they're doing something different. They're putting other things in place. So there is a checklist for taking a break in the file section. If you can, tell people, you know, it doesn't have to be that you've got a problem. It could be as simple as, oh, I just want to take 30 days off alcohol. You know, what's your reason? It could be that you just want to lose some weight. It could be that you're on medication. It could be that you're going to the gym. It could be that you've got something going on at work and you want to concentrate. There could be 1,000,001 reasons why you just want to take a break from alcohol. If you tell people, then it sets them up and they know that's what you're doing. And you might find that some of your friends say, oh yeah, I'll do that with you. And then if you've got somebody that wants to do it with you, even better. This stuff is catching. I have quite a lot of friends now that don't drink. They may not be like that forever, but it's not unusual for me to go out now and for me to have some friends that aren't drinking. Not a lot, but some friends. So it is catching. If you can, don't have any alcohol at home. I know some of you are saying, oh, Stephanie, that's not possible. But, you know, if you've got a partner that drinks, can you get them on board? Can you just make sure that maybe your favourite tipple isn't at home? You know, if you're a wine drinker and your partner's a lager drinker, you know, or vice versa, so that you're not tempted. You know, personally myself, I've never drunk lager or cider. I can be around that forever. It doesn't bother me at all. Not at all, because I'm not interested. So make it easy on yourself, you know, in those first couple of weeks. Can you not have any in the house, or could it just be out of the way? And maybe if the people that you live with, could they be a little bit supportive, maybe help you out? It's going to make life a lot easier. Healthy meals and water counts even more when taking a break, and sleep. And remember, you need to do something different. You're taking something out, you need to put something in. So important, ladies. Okay, I've sort of done a little bit of a whistle stop tour there. Like I said, there's the videos in the file section that go into more detail, but I do lots of Facebook Lives and they're in the video section, which they've got titles on, so you can see things like dealing with a blip, feeling different, things like that. And I'm always doing different subjects every week. You know, we've just done the exercise challenge, which was great. If people need more support, I do the 14-day coaching program, which is 30 days really. It's just, you know, I don't know why I say the 14-day one, which is for people that are struggling a bit and need a bit of extra support, so that can really help. And then if you want something a bit meatier, a bit more belt and braces, then I've got the 21-day coaching program, and I also do one-to-one coaching and therapy via Skype or face-to-face if people need that extra support. But there are also lots of blogs on the websites as well. So as always, thank you, ladies. I hope you found that useful. Keep going. You will not regret this. Even if you're struggling, you know, remember it's about reducing and building on success and alcohol-free days. And if you are taking a break, brilliant, you've got a good chunk of time there. Enjoy it. You know, it's such a small part, hopefully, of our lives, and we only have one life and one body, and you know, I don't think you'll regret going alcohol free. Well, I think most of the ladies on the page will agree with me there. So thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. See you soon. Bye.